Right, now it's counting down. Hello, family, and welcome again to your amazing show here on the AfriOne show. Today, I promise it's going to be all things Africa. All things this celebrity that is sitting by my side. I was saying to her when we were starting, I said, you are a celebrity, and so we're going to talk everything. And please, the things you know you've never said on other platforms, you must say it here. So she was laughing. Ladies and gentlemen, without wasting much of her time, you know her very much. She has been a formidable force in South Africa when it comes to South African Nigerian South African gospel music. I think I have to say that. I remember the first time we came, I think it was Gordon Omegale's concert, and you were ministering. Okay. And so by the time you came, at the moment you carry mic and you just do your, whoo, my wife stand up. Mom was like, who is that? I said, no, don't worry. I said, Nigeria has talent. It's just the fact that your constitution is frustrating us. So since that moment, my wife has been following you. Anytime she knows that you are doing a program, she'll be like, no, but babe, this very particular thing you want to do. The way she mentioned your name all the time, I'm like, woman, calm down now. Like, relax. I know, Pastor Anietie, calm down. I will bring her. So for me, I think that was how impactful she has been within the South African gospel. I think the first time I met you singing, it was one of the church, Grace House Family Church. Okay. Years ago, I used the word years ago. Yes. And by the time the woman, and that time I was just an editor. Okay. I'm like, who be this one? See voice, see pack from singing slow motion to high life to kwaito to my piano, and she carry all of us together. At that time, it was not my piano, but I'm just joining everything. But it was quite great for me. Thank you so much for coming and welcome to AfriOne show.
Thank you for
That's how I introduce my people. Because if you're looking for me to read notes, there's no notes.
Hello, family. Welcome to the AfriOne show.
Thank you so much.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
How long have you been in South Africa first before we start our conversations?
That's more than 20 years.
Jesus Christ. She's a shareholder, guys.
Yeah.
That's just all I can say.
Yes, I'm a shareholder. I should be able to run for
premiership.
Yeah.
And I'll vote for you. I think maybe we should put you as the face of AfriOne show so that we foreigners can vote for you. Wow. You know, we plenty of.
I know.
When SA gave me the number, I said, boy, I think I need to open a political party. Hashtag just saying. You never can tell that she's going to be the face of AfriOne show. So, 20 years, you know the constitution. Wow. How's it been for you, Tosfa, 20 years being in the country?
Well, it's been wonderful, filled with ups and downs, I must say.
Okay.
You don't come into a country and just expect everything to start working smoothly.
Just expect
So you pay your dues.
You
will pay your dues.
Okay, I'm interested in the dues. What are the dues you pay?
I want to know the dues. You pay your dues. It's and trying to fit in when I came in here.
Okay.
It was a bit difficult. Trying to understand the culture of the people and also the people understanding my culture. There were days I would like, why is it that the moment I talk, you're like, I'm not going to, the hostility, I'm like, take it easy.
I'm just sharing my views.
I'm just trying to express myself that this is what I want. I want this. And because I cannot speak your language does not mean that you should just automatically see me as a stranger. For goodness sake, I'm an African. And we share the same color. So that should speak for something. So it was a lot of that. And then having to break through, get your own documentation, get a place, settle in, your children and all that. It wasn't easy, but I give God the glory that it's different now.
Yeah.
I paid my dues. I think if I must say so, South Africa, I paid my dues. I have paid my dues.
I think when I used to say that, people think I was joking.
No, I have. Pikono. In fact, the blood, South African blood is flowing through my veins right now as I speak to you.
I think I told you, I said, if you spent 10 years in South Africa, you've paid your dues. I remember I was cracking jokes with a particular guest who was sitting where you were sitting. I said to them, see, 15 years. I said, that is not enough for me, one. Then number two, I now marry your daughter. I said, come down.
You don't
I
try.
said, I relax, Mara, be furniture in the house. Like,
you are trying.
I am the furniture in the house.
No, you are now son of the soil.
You know, during AfCon, everybody would tell me, we are playing our in-law. And they would tag me on football, especially when Nigeria and South Africa play. They're like in-law plus host or something like that. Then when I'm like, I used to see, because the truth of it is the fact that I never knew that, honestly, when I say these people think I'm lying, I didn't know that they were playing AfCon. So it was I only knew during Nigeria, what's called, the qualifying match for Nigeria and South Africa. I'm like, AfCon. Okay, that's interesting. So all of a sudden, I just joined in the wave. I'm like, okay, because everybody's tagging me. We are playing our in-law. Then I remember Nigerians will be telling me, Darlington, please be careful because we'll beat you guys. I say, what's going on?
And then you see the ones who are married, they're like, we are neutral.
I know me, I was neutral. I'm like,
it was better for you to be neutral.
Me, I tell them, I said, see, guys.
They will collect that your wife from you.
Me, I tell them, I said, my permit is written with pencil. It can be cleaned. I don't want wahala. Please, you guys leave me. So when they ask me who is going to win the match, I say whether Nigeria win, my wife will be very happy. South Africa win, I'll be very happy. Whichever one, happiness is in my home.
Because I'm more like a dual citizen. So South Africa, na my people. Nigeria, na my people.
Home now home. So that's the
so.
thing. But in you being here for over 2 decades, which you said 20, what is that one hurdles when you look back and you thank God that you managed to jump as an experience for you? When you look at it, okay, this is the caveat moment where it all changed. Okay. And all of a sudden I begin to, in the words of pastors like us, I begin to find rest. In the things I do.
You know, when I was coming to this country, like I think I've said it once, I came here, actually, let me say I came here by revelation. It wasn't just something I stood or planned. We never thought, I would say myself, I never thought I would end up in South Africa or have to live in South Africa.
Okay.
You know, growing up as a child, when they talk about travel, you know now.
America.
I won't go America. I won't go.
No, anytime I think of
this, I feel like
cursing the guy who did my visa.
My dear.
No, because for me, I tell people the truth of it is the fact that the guy who's supposed to do my visa was supposed to give me Switzerland. Oh. For strangers in the idiot went to put South Africa.
Maybe the S. You sure that the guy not can get eye problem.
I only knew when it was 1 month to expire. I'm like, where? What? Quickly, I went to start Googling Madiba land. I'm like, no, this thing must not expire. And all of a sudden, boom, to cut the long story short.
I think God,
so I understand where you were talking from, where from us from that side.
Side coming America here and all that.
Yeah.
So to me, it was like, South Africa is an African country. And then with all that we heard, the appetite and all that, I'm like, who wants to go there? You don't know if they walk up the street, they shoot you. You understand? So a lot of things, but one day I had a revelation. I must say I had a vision.
Okay.
It was like, this is where I want you to be. It was like, it was pressed in my spirit. God showed me revelation. I found myself in South Africa in that revelation, in that vision. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do here? And I saw a lot of things that were like, oh, there's a lot of trouble. But that voice said, go. So when I woke up, I told my husband that this is what I saw. My husband said, okay. A few years after he got the opportunity to come, when he came inside the country, so beautiful, I said, really? Are you sure you went to Africa? You know, because of the mindset that we have.
Obviously.
And then eventually I came, and then we later came and settled. When I was leaving Nigeria, I had a lot of open doors. Yeah. I mean, being a gospel music minister.
And family, no hashtag. No, wait, let me advertise you first. She's a very good. It's my show. It's okay. I can't truncate you anyhow. She's a very good gospel singer. That I won't lie. She's anointed. She's gifted. She's passionate about it. She's called for it. And she has the voice for it. So I say 5 things. Please use the email on the screen for you to talk to me on how we can bring her.
Are you going to
Kenya?
be manager?
Ma?
Okay.
No, I'm not going to be managing. No, I don't have managing grace for now. No. I'm still trying to recover from the previous ones of dexterity. Now, it's AfriOne show. Kenya, Namibia, because I know that we've been talking. Kenya, Namibia, Tanzania, and Uganda. Let's get this woman to that very particular country. She's good.
Thank you so
much.
much.
Now you can shoot.
So when I was leaving the country, leaving Nigeria, I had a lot of programs ahead.
In Nigeria,
in Nigeria.
Not here. Okay.
Doors were open. You know, you get to that point in your life where you say, this is your season.
Yeah.
And things are falling in place for you. And all of a sudden, you have to leave the country. It wasn't easy for me. It was, it was filled with mixed emotion. But I was like, well, I have to hit the score. I must go. We left, we came in. A couple of churches wanted me to still honor their invitation, so they were willing to pay for my ticket.
To come back to Nigeria.
To come back. I was doing that for more than a year. After a while, I asked myself, say, now what God send me come do? Because when God wants you to do something, you must do it, whether you like it or not. The moment you start deviating, you start having problems.
True.
So at some point, I had to tell myself, no, sit down. And I began to question, I began to ask God. It took a while for God to really open me up to, this is why I want you here. And the moment that happened, I told myself, God, I'm going to sit put. I didn't know nobody. I didn't know any church. I just knew a few friends, and I mean, if you know one or two people. So I started reaching out to people, reach out to a couple of friends that I knew back home. Say,
so it was not ministry who brought you people here?
We came as people who were led to come. And when we were coming, we actually gained admission to Rema Bible College. Yeah. But we didn't eventually do the Bible College.
Okay.
So when we came in and tried to get a few friends to know I'm around, I'm a gospel music minister, I don't want to sit down doing nothing. Obviously, I'm
Nigeria,
still learning.
You won't sit down. It's never.
Yes,
it's in our blood. We don't sit down.
We don't sit in one place. So I'm still trying to acclimatize myself with this country. You guys have been here for a while. How does it work here? What should I do? And all that. A couple of them were like, we're busy with our own things, so I understood.
Yeah, I hear you.
And one person called me. He said, okay, what do you want to do, my sister? And I explained. And I decided to do an album.
Okay.
Started with an album, did my first album. Didn't even put my number on the sleeve. I had to put the brother's number. His name is Kunle. Obviously, everybody knows Kunle.
Oh, Kulayo. Yeah, I think for those of you who want to understand Kulayo, go watch episode 2. You'll find Kulayo. I think episode 2, episode 3. Yeah.
So we got together, I did an album, and people started calling him when they hear, and they say, we're trying to locate this woman with that. And he'll call me, my sister, they are looking for you. I said, okay. And gradually, God started opening the doors. And then from there, I started understanding why I'm here. And I began to use my platform, because when God opens the door for you, I started using the platform to reach and do exactly what I was asked to do. There are still so many things I've not dived into, because I want to be doing one
stage at a time.
Stage by stage. So I'm still in that process of, when I'm done with this, I go to the next.
For somebody who is watching you now, your 2 decades of being in South Africa, and you want to advise the person who is currently planning to relocate to South Africa, what advice will you give to the person?
I've had a couple of people send me a message who want to come to South Africa. One thing first thing I tell them, pray about it.
Okay.
If you've prayed about it and the Holy Spirit has given you that leading to come, find out how the nation is. True. You can actually do. The world is a global village today. You can
and it's very small now.
Very small. So
on
you
your
can
phone.
find out. Yes, on your phone you can find out a lot of things. Ask questions so that when you get here, you're not confused. Because a lot of people come here, when they get into this place, they just sit. You can come here. There's so much life here. South Africa is full of enjoyment.
Enjoyment galore.
Enjoyment galore. You can come here and be lost. So when you're coming, find out.
Hey, don't go too far now. You are rushing. You can come here and be lost.
No.
I need to. Which lost is that?
You can come here, and when you see the life, if you've got the cash, if you see the life, you probably forget where you're coming from.
Are you talking from a standpoint of a guy coming here or a lady coming?
Both guys and ladies. It's true. No, if you're coming from a place where things are not as smooth.
Okay, I understand you now.
You understand?
Yeah.
So you come here, the life is different. You can get into the system and forget
where you're coming
your assignment or where you're coming from. And then find out what
I'm tempted to ask you, have there been people who come into the country and they lost?
Yes. There are many.
I wish you can go and Google that language you just said.
There are many. It's true. There are people who come here. There are many. I cannot start telling you people who came in. And then maybe they got the opportunity to go to the club. And let's talk about...
no, what is happening? One show.
Yes.
It's not a Christian show.
They go into the club. They see how the life is. They see the beautiful women. And they're,
Father.
Finally. I don't enter. And then you lose yourself.
I hear you.
You lose yourself. There's a young man, I think this one comes he came into the country, took him to the club just to say, guy, you just come.
We'll just show you around.
Show you around. Almost the guy is waiting past him. When they said, let's go back home, he said, no, I'll go see you later. He left, he stood there. When he was coming back, I think he got to the gates. Nobody opened for him. He had to sit outside, and the guy died of cold. It was
Jesus Christ.
So you can get here, and when you see the life, you forget.
You lost your mandate.
You lost your mandate. Another thing I tell them, once you enter, make sure you get the proper documentation. There are people who have been here for years, no documentation. So it's one.
But I think the documentation process, especially currently now that you're watching this very particular stuff, if you compare the process of getting documentation now and compared to then when you come in, how is it?
No, it was much. easier.
Okay.
It was much, much easier. I would not say I know why it changed. A lot of it have happened.
Our people, me and East African, we don't put wahala for that place.
So
Now we
because
cause
when
the
we
problem.
came, there was a time that you didn't need to stay too long to get
Document.
get yourself documented in South Africa. But that started changing as
The goalposts keep changing.
everything kept changing.
I think that's what I said to people. I said, I to my fellow South African people, especially the ones in government position, I said, when they call me, I said, see guys, you keep complaining that there's illegal, what's it called, undocumented foreigners. Because that's the word they use. And I'm saying to them, I say, see guys, listen to me. I don't know about Zimbabwe and Botswana, all those ones that are close there. I say, but you see that thing that is from West Africa? There is no way they enter this country without a form of documentation.
No, there's no way.
The reason why they now become undocumented is because your goalposts constantly
It changes, and the system constantly changes.
So, and if it changes and tomorrow this person cannot meet up to the system, then you say they are undocumented. I'm like, no, they are not documented. Go and check their visa. There is a document there. Let's go and fix that very particular thing. Now, with that being said, for me, if you were to stay, if you were to stay back and contemplate about the moment of the shock that you experience in your 2 decades of being in South Africa, what shock would that be? Indirectly, what were the culture shock you experienced when you find yourself here?
Let me say the culture shock would be people having children. You see a child of 12 years old.
Okay, I'm trying to understand.
It's not a culture, I won't call it a culture thing, but to me it felt when I started seeing 2, 3, 4 people, I've got a child and I'm looking at someone who is maybe 32, is a grandmother.
32 grandmother?
Yeah.
Yes,
that was a shock for me because maybe because where I'm coming from, things like that.
32 at that moment.
We don't, if you have a child outside wedlock, you're automatically a tokumbo.
True.
And to some people, they would even hide it and tell the child to call you auntie. And then before anybody will marry you,
you go fast and pray.
You will go mountain.
Sure.
So when I got here, it wasn't anything, and it was something that was free, and I was like, wow, okay.
So how did you adapt when you see?
No. So because when we now started the ministry, and I started seeing that it was like, what's wrong with you at your age? And then I go to the hospital, I see girls of 12 years old going for. What do they call it? Trying to avoid pregnancy.
Abortion.
No, not even abortion. They were going for family. What we call
family planning.
Family planning.
Yeah.
Why are you going for family? So I don't get pregnant. I'm like, this is it. So it was a bit, when you now start talking to them, it's not like this. It was like, no, don't tell us what you done. I was like, whoa, where I'm coming from. This is sacred. Your body are like, even if this kind of thing happen, even your parents, everybody will like try to protect you.
They will hit you.
Yeah, they will hit you. But here it was like, it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
And even mothers were not seeing it as a big deal. I wouldn't say it's a culture, but it was a bit shocking to me.
For you, yeah.
Because of where I'm coming from. And I think another thing would be, we saw how our people were free to marry South Africans.
Okay.
Where I'm coming from, to some extent, intertribal marriage is not too common in Nigeria. I'm into intertribal marriage. My husband is, but we saw how free the men were with the women. I'm like, this is.
Isn't they giving a drink now?
My brother.
No, if he asks me, because me, I do cross country.
So it took a while for me to sit there and just begin to understand. Say, okay. And there was, in fact, so many things that will shock me. Today, we need to talk and finish. Like I just said, the one that really shocked me the most was when I saw children. Who I should call children.
No, I think I understand where you go for it, because as a mother, for you, it was like, okay,
So it's not as if it's not something that happens elsewhere, but
it was just too common.
It was too common here, and the way they did not take it, it wasn't anything that was, it was just, yes, it happens. It was just there. And where I'm coming from, I'm like, who you want to?
Family, when you hear those one slangs, just go and check Google, because I have no time to explain.
Sorry about the slangs. Where are you coming from? Talo, who did this to you?
So for when you see those very particular culture shock, does that influence how you take care of your children?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
And it also influenced how I started relating. with the
Relating to
people,
your children or to the
my
people?
children, to the people.
Okay.
And you know, in terms of when you meet someone who has fallen pregnant, a young girl,
Okay.
at her age, you don't go judging.
Okay.
You don't go discriminating or begin to treat the person like, oh, you have done what nobody else has done. We're able to look at what should be done. You talk to the person, get them to know, oh, this has happened. It's not the end of the world. You get through it. And for me, it now made me understand that I was not just sent here.
It was a mission.
I was on a mission.
Oh, okay.
And so
And when you were
even though
busy,
it was a shock, but I took time to sit and say, okay, this could be the reason why you're here.
and when you were busy doing that, in terms of talking to the people, how were their reception towards you?
Oh, and
Because remember, you're in
Dep-
Nigeria.
yeah, yeah.
And sometimes, the reason I'm asking is because sometimes there's a way we talk and they feel as if, okay, guy, calm down.
you're condemning me, you're judging
Yeah,
me.
so-
Yeah, initial stage, I would say, I can't lie. Initially, I was like, why would you? You don't understand. And they're looking at me like, are you okay? Why are you judging me? Why are you condemning me? Until I sat down, I began to say, no, this is not the approach. This is not how to go about it. Different ways, especially when you know that this is something that is not so frowned at.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you understand? So there's a different way and a different approach. And when I started approaching this matter differently, they were open
Okay.
to like, oh, relate with me and
Okay.
say, oh, this is it, and all that. And sometimes it's not as if it's something that was done deliberate. You know, there's a way life, when you're struggling in life, when you're trying to make a ends meet or you're trying to get something out of life, you can do certain things that you never wanted to do. And some people have fallen prey because, oh, he said he loved me, he said he would be there for me, he said he would do this for me and that. And I just felt that, oh, I found someone. And then before you know it, the story changes.
When you look at, before we go on the break, when you look at the relationship between Nigerians, and this is me saying it in general, between Nigerians and South Africa, and I'm not talking about relationship based on relationship that leads to marriage, just in terms of interconnections with the people, what goes through your mind?
I think it's better now because when like I said, one of the things I had to deal with was when you speak and you're not sounding like a South African.
Yeah.
Automatically, if you come in contact with someone who is hostile towards Nigeria, you're in trouble.
Okay.
Get out of our country, leave out. There are people who told me, leave our country, we don't want you there.
They've told you?
Yeah, they've told me before.
Wow.
I thought, leave our country. And I remember having an experience where I wanted to buy something, and just because I could not speak the language, and I'm trying to explain to this woman, she just dished it anyhow for me. I said, I'm disturbing her. I'm talking too much. So compared to now, it is better. I think there's understanding. The people are beginning to understand, even though there are still so many who are still.
No, there are still so many. No, that I would say there are still so
hostile towards
many.
Nigeria,
Yeah.
but a lot of you have come to see that, oh, these people are part of us. They are not here to take whatever belongs to us. They are just here. Providence somehow has brought them here.
Yeah.
Let's see how we can cohabit with them, live with them. Those who don't understand, who are still hostile, I'm sure in the nearest future.
Nearest future. You
they'll
believe that
also
it will
be-
change?
They will. Definitely, they will.
Do you think
because
that
I believe that there is something that God has to do with Nigeria and South Africa. Whether we
You know,
like
as you
it
do
or
that, the reason why I look at my listing is because anytime I wear this because it's prophetic for me.
not. Yeah, it is.
Guys, this is just map of Africa and stuff.
Yeah.
And anytime I look at it from a standpoint that this is South Africa.
No, that's Nigeria.
This is Nigeria.
That's like the trigger point.
As in, then I said to people, I said, we are triggers. South Africa is mouthpiece.
It's a mouthpiece.
If these two countries can
Can
get it
work
right,
together.
I forget it. America and the West will beg us for us to
Beg us
survive.
for us. Yeah, that's it. That's
All right,
it.
family, I think I want to stop here on this very particular first segment, but I'm going to ask a question so that you meditate on that before we go on the break. And the question is this. When you look at the collaborations between Nigeria and South Africa in terms of business and ministry, what do you see? Number one. Number two, do you think that us as Nigeria in South Africa, we have done enough justice with the people, or we are still trying to find a way of how to navigate it? It's a question that I want my guests to think upon before we come back again and continue this very particular show. Please, family, if you have any questions and comments you want to ask us, please feel free to definitely send your message to the email, or probably you can then send your comment on whatever platform you're streaming and watching us from. Still here on your AfriOne show, it's all about unity, innovations, and at the end of it all, elevating one another. I'll be right back just now. Family, that's how we're back again on the second segment, and I hope that you all are enjoying this very particular show. We went on a break having a conversations around, the first is Nigerians living in South Africa, and I asked her that does she think that we are collaborating in terms of business properly, and the second one there that I asked was the whole fact about us as Nigerians still. What are the perceptions and the narratives that we have around when it comes to South Africa? I'll start with the first question. Do you think, in your 2 decades being in South Africa, do you think that Nigerians living in South Africa, we have done justice in terms of collaborating with its people, or we're still trying to find a way on how to navigate it?
I would say we've not done enough.
Okay, that's interesting.
We're not there yet because there's a whole lot. You know, Nigerians, especially those who come from the eastern part of Nigeria when it comes to business, are very good with that, very innovative. And I feel that because of this thing of you are in my country trying to get what belongs to me, is still the reason why that openness, that collaboration is not where it should be.
Between Nigerians
and South Africa. To some extent, some have been able to do it, but there's still a whole lot to do. And I strongly believe that there is something about these two nations, that if we can break the barrier, break the wall, the fence, and come together, there is, just like you said, we would be too big for the Western world. We are not there yet.
What do you think is the barrier from your own standpoint? And I'm happy 2 decades is not a child's play. At least you are 5 years older than me in the country. That's why she's the madam at the top. When I meet my elders, I tell somebody that I say, even though you are 1 day older than me in this country, you don't see things past me.
You know, you must have seen now.
Yeah,
I remember living in a room with my children, one room. One room. Because it's not easy to get.
Just have to start. So when you would talk about the barrier, because you were saying there's a lot of barriers that is holding us back. From your own standpoint, 2 decades, what do you think is the barriers that is holding us from collaborating between Nigerians and South Africa?
I think it's a mindset thing.
Okay.
It's a mindset thing. There's still undertone racism, which is I cannot open up to you. Some people feel Nigerians are too clever. Let me be true.
Too clever.
Yeah. I mean, it used to be a word before. My Nigerians are too clever. But the truth is that when you meet an honest Nigerian and you decide to collaborate with that honest Nigerian, I mean, the sky can never limit you.
Don't you think that it is because of, and this is me just saying as an AfriOne, don't you think it's because of the damage that we Nigerians have done that is giving these people skepticism in terms of collaborating with us?
Yeah. To some, if we want to dive into that, when we talk about some of the crazy things Nigerians or other African countries would do, I used to say it is not possible for you to commit a crime in a country without the aid of a citizen.
Go deeper. No, you're a pastor now. Go deeper.
Because if you say somebody is doing something, how was the person able to break the system? How was the person able to carry it out without the aid of someone who knows the system? So some of the things that we would complain that Nigerians have done, to be sincere, they didn't do it on their own. They had people to work with. And I would say it.
Don't you think that they will say, for instance, that it is because we come with a corrupt mindset, we corrupt their system?
My dear, corruption has nothing to do with where you're from. It does not.
It's a personality thing.
It's a personality.
It's not a nationality thing.
It's not a nationality thing. It's the truth, because there are people here who are corrupt. You go outside South Africa, there are people who are corrupt. In every part of the world, you meet corrupt people. Let me tell you, for instance, if you are an Igbo smoker, let's use this illustration. If they smoke Igbo, make I use pidgin language. The moment you get to an environment or a street, you know Igbo will tell you who they smoke Igbo for that street. Igbo, Indian name will tell you who smokes it in that environment or in that street, and will lead you there. So when you come into a country, if I come and I approach you to do something evil, if it's not a part of you, you tell me no, and if possible, report me to the necessary authority. But if I come and I try to tell you, do something with me that you know is illegal, and you still accept, it means corruption is in you. So it's not a nationality thing. Yes, I know that there are people who came in here and tried to lead people, because obviously people lead people astray.
Yeah.
But for you to accept, what I'm trying to say is for you to accept to be led astray, it was always in you. You just needed someone to aid it. You just needed the temptation. You understand? So there is, yes, there are crazy people who came into this country, Nigerians who do crazy things. But my point is that they don't get to do this thing without getting
the
help
aid of the
from
people.
those who know the system and know how to break the system.
The second, because of my time, because I need us to cover a lot of stuff. The second one I asked is the whole issue of when it comes to us as Nigeria fitting into the system of South Africa. Do you think thus far, and you have to be honest, especially you being a gospel artist, and I'm happy that when you came into the country, you try as much as possible to push. Yeah. And thus far, do you think that Nigerians in South Africa, using you as an example, that you've been able to fit into the system properly, or you're still struggling?
I'm no longer struggling, I'll tell you the truth. I've been able to fit into the system, and I know that there are many Nigerians that have been able to fit into the system.
That's interesting. So now you need to tell us, how did you fit into the system? This is now where you relax and like, okay, please help us. We are still struggling.
No, I've been able to, because one, let's even look aside from the fact that I've been able to understand how the system operates.
So your first is you managed to understand how the system
operates.
Okay.
And luckily for me, my husband is one person that when he gets into a country, the first thing he does is let me get my documentation and make sure I have a right, because that's very important.
No, true, very important, 100%.
You don't want to be in a country you're afraid. You know, when you are walking and police.
You're looking at and you hear siren, even though you hear for do you are running.
You know, I can't do that anymore. That we've been able to sort out that.
Okay.
So we are documented. We live here. We have also been able to go beyond just the ministry to do things.
Okay.
We've been able to see, okay, these are the things you can do in the country. Aside from the fact that we feed the poor, we do evangelism. We also do other businesses, like, I run food business.
Yeah.
And my music ministry is there, which is under my husband's company.
Okay.
So everything at the end of the day, we know that to some extent we have a standing, we have our ground, and we are not like people who, when you see us tomorrow, we're still thinking of
what to do.
Tomorrow we'll move. No.
Okay.
We have settled in. We have accepted the culture, and we work to ensure that whatever we're doing, we do not go against
the South African system.
The South African system.
Okay.
And we do not go against the culture.
Do you think that the system, especially in South Africa here, for us as Nigerians, is fair towards us, or it's biased?
I think if you do the right thing, I would not say it's unfair.
When you say doing the right thing, what does that mean?
Like I keep saying, if you get yourself well.
Now I hear the documented part and stuff.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people watching you currently now, and they're saying, yes, but I have my documents and co, but it's
and it looks as if I am not.
Otherwise, they'll look, okay, pastor is a privileged in Nigeria.
No. I know. I don't want. You know why I don't want to say that they've been unfair.
Okay.
Why I want to say those, you are in someone else's country, for goodness.
True.
And some of us have been able to get jobs to do, like with what I do. I've not been discriminated in any way. South Africans invite me to come minister in their churches.
Yeah.
I have South African friends. I have South Africans who follow me.
I think I was watching on that show that you did of recently. Is it still running?
Pastor's wife.
Pastor's wife.
So I wouldn't say that. If that's why I keep saying, maybe I should say, because I came here not by my own willingness. I've been able to.
So indirectly we can say favor was fair to you.
It was fair to me.
So some of us, we're still trying to find favor.
No, the truth is that you find favor. But if you feel that you are in a place that is not favoring you, and you feel the people are not being fair to you, go back in, find out what exactly is it that I need to do. I don't want to look at it that South Africa is not being fair to us. Yes, a lot of things happen. You can go somewhere, maybe you're trying to get something, and the moment they know that you are in Nigeria,
and
they're like, we can't do it for you. It happens. Maybe 1 or 2 cases, or 3 cases. But to be sincere, those who have settled in this country will tell you this country has not been unfair to them. Maybe
every one of us, I think the truth of it is we have our differences,
yeah.
number one,
So
and there are.
I wouldn't say South Africa has been unfair to me. I wouldn't say that, even though there are people who sit here and tell you that it's not been favorable to
When we look at us as Nigerians in South Africa, do you think that we are fair to the expectations that we are demanding from South Africa? I'll repeat it again so that you can think. Nigeria comes into the country, have their own expectations, and they entered into the country, and they're expecting the country, South Africa, to be able to meet them at a particular point. So my question then is this: do you think that we as Nigerians in South Africa, our expectations of South Africa to us, do you think that we are fair in our demands of South Africa?
Okay, I would say we are not unfair in our demands. You know why?
Why?
One, because it's an African country, I feel that we are related somehow.
Yes.
Somehow.
I agree. My wife is from Nigeria.
Somehow.
I married the Kosage.
We
I
are
keep telling my
related.
wife, I said, you are from
And
Nigeria.
when you look at it now, there was a time during the apartheid time,
Yeah.
Nigeria was very helpful to South Africa.
Okay.
Let's not forget that. Nigeria was very helpful.
Say it again.
And I mean, I remember, even as a child, you see, you read in the newspaper of so and so person who came into the country, Nigeria, we're raising funds, we're doing that, we're helping in the little way that
Mandela fee. I remember Mandela fee in school.
In school, thank you.
I paid. You.
Oh.
I paid
So
that money.
if we come in and we are expecting that, okay, integrate us in. I don't think we're demanding for too much.
That's
I
interesting.
don't think we're demanding for too much. And to some extent, especially with the fact that so many people are still struggling to get their permits or to be properly documented. If we're asking for you to open your arms, embrace us, we're not asking for too much.
Okay.
And we're not saying this because we were there for you once. We're just saying this that look at us as one of you. We're not so different. And some of the things that you would not do to, in quote, maybe a person of a different color from why do it to your own person with the same color with you? So it's not unfair for us to demand certain things. And I must say, personally, my expectation may have been met.
Okay.
But there are so many Nigerians who are still like, I mean, for instance, if I'm married to a South African, why would I be struggling for paper?
No, but being married to South Africa doesn't mean that you have paper.
Thank you.
Hey,
So,
ask me.
So there are so many people who are like,
Mommy, I'm honest. I'm married to South Africa. Ask me.
Why am I still not having paper? My wife is a South African. And why can't my wife, just the fact that she's my wife, should
give me access.
Give me that access.
At least just give me the paper first.
Just give me the paper.
The other thing will be sorted out.
The other things can be sorted out. You understand?
Yeah.
So I would say to me, maybe because I did not come in here to marry a South African. Maybe I don't know, but I would say for whatever I'm expecting or whatever I was looking out for, which I didn't come looking out for something. I would not lie.
Do you advise that when the Nigerians is coming in, or the Nigerians that are here in South Africa, do you advise them for them to limit the expectations of South Africa or still uphold it, hoping that one day it would break?
I would say limit your expectation.
Why?
You know why? Because
Pastor just laugh immediately. Answer it. You know that laughter has an answer it that way.
No, limit your expectation, because when I'm trying to get that scripture, it says when your expectation, when you don't get what you, it hurts that.
It hurts the bone. Yeah, it makes the bone goes dry and all of that. Yeah.
Limit your expectation. Come with an open mind. And when I say limit your expectation, come having faith. And also know that anything
I'm loving
can
these
happen.
Conversations.
Anything can happen. Yes, anything can happen. Don't expect that the moment you land in South Africa, doors are just going to be open.
That the gold in Joburg.
Forget that story.
There's no
That's
gold.
the story entirely. Go there, but oh boy, you get shovel. Do you have the shovel?
You get shovel.
Do you have shovel? And can you
the first time I'm hearing that.
endure digging for that long? So limit your expectation, I
Okay.
would say, but come with an open mind.
Okay.
And know that anything can happen.
Comment and
If it is I used to tell people, don't go where God no send you. Don't go to where
you go sponsor yourself
yeah,
there.
if you go to where you have not been sent. Maybe why I'm speaking from this angle, I'm speaking differently is because
You were sent.
I was sent. I mean, I don't care what anybody thinks. I was sent.
If they were to ask you now, and this is me throwing this at you, because obviously I know you're Nigerian, I know you're a gospel singer, you're a businesswoman and all of that. Do you have a Pan-African mindset, or it's just a fact that when the conversations comes, you talk about it, but not a posture you carry?
It's a posture I carry, I must say that. I believe that, like I said, we're one. Africans were one. And wherever I find an African, I shouldn't be asking, where are you from? Because that's where we're having problem. If I see a South African or a South African sees a Nigerian, don't see me as a Nigerian. See me as one of you.
Okay.
If we can have this mindset, I'm telling you, we can flow anywhere and still stand for each other. If for instance, I'm lost in New York City and I'm looking for a place to hide my head.
The first person
I want to go to is someone who has a black skin like me. You know why? Because I will feel that this is my own. I would, even if I don't know if it's a black American or anything, because
But the person
obviously
is just black, it's okay.
I just want to go to a black and say, I don't care which language you're speaking. I'm in distress.
This country, yeah.
I need help. I think we should have that mindset. We shouldn't be seeing ourselves as
This Nigeria, this South
that
Africa,
we're
this
not in
Congo.
competition.
Okay.
We're supposed to uphold the continent. We're not.
Say it again. That's the clincher.
Uphold the continent. We're not in competition.
We are supposed
We're
to.
supposed to.
You.
You are my brother. If I see you anywhere, I meet you in the ship, I meet you in the plane, we are one. It doesn't matter your language.
Lege.
So well, I'm not trying to. I don't carry that mindset that wherever I go, Nigeria is called
the pride of the land.
The pride of the land.
So if they were to take you now and throw you literally in Algeria or in Morocco, you will still embody who you are.
I'll still embody who I am.
Okay.
Yes, I wouldn't change who I am. I wouldn't try to say, oh no, I would still be me. And the fact that you are an African, you are an African. It does not matter now whether you are Algeria, I am Nigeria. And this is what unless we stop it, we are going nowhere.
And with
this is what is killing us. And this is why we keep selling out. We sell ourselves.
It just hits the.
We sell ourselves. Because the moment I'm trying to say, what do you think about Nigerians? Should I do business? No. Don't do business with Nigeria. They're this or they're that. And that's it. It's over. And then I can say, don't do business with Congolese. You want to do business? We're selling ourselves short. We're selling out. If you want to do business with anybody, feel free. I should be able to tell you that's my brother.
Yeah.
From another mother.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, one
mother will get. There's no another.
There's no another mother.
Because also another mother.
Now one papa.
One mama now will get.
That's the truth. It's just like you see the European. They call themselves Europeans.
You know, for me, I even say this, that it's quite strange where an America will be coming into Africa. They don't say I'm going to Nigeria. They say I'm going to Africa.
And that's the truth.
And so when you look at, for me, sometimes when I look at how they communicate, so there's a posture and the perceptions they have about us. That these ones, they are Africa. We are the ones who are now tagging ourselves as
say,
Nigeria,
I'm this
Congolese.
One, I'm Algeria, I'm Congolese. They see us as Africa.
Okay. You know, the reason why I'm quiet, family, is because for those of you who are on the TikTok side and the YouTube side of things, we struggle with the narratives where we just believe that because this person is in Nigeria, all of a sudden you want to shortcut and, like you said, find a way of hurting ourselves and sabotaging ourselves. Before I forget my question, do you think that as us as blacks, because now I'm moving down into the African narrative, do you think as us as black we represent ourselves properly, or we're still trying to find ourselves?
I don't think we've gotten there. We're not.
And when I mean black, I'm not talking about Nigerian black. I'm talking about the Africans, also as blacks.
Black.
2 billion plus people. I think that's the statistics thus far.
Yeah. To some extent, I don't know if it's a mindset thing or we feel that we are not as compared to our counterparts, maybe in the Western world. We feel that we're limited. We feel that we're not good enough. We're not worth I would say we don't feel that we carry some sort of worth. So when we carry ourselves, automatically, because you're an African, you look at yourself that, I may never be like, no, you are too much. And I'm glad that there are so many Africans doing great things out there. I mean, those are people we should look up to. If an African person can be this in America, I don't want to start mentioning names. Obviously, we've seen in America where Nigeria was appointed to do. So many Nigerians were appointed. So if the fact that I'm an African, and knowing fully well what I carry and what the continent carries, should make me walk anywhere feeling that I'm worth something.
Do you think as Africans, and also with what we have, that our continent has a system to make an African great in its own continent?
We do have.
You sure?
We do have, my brother. We do have. We do have.
I'm listening.
My prayer.
Because you said something
we do
here.
Have.
No, you know why I'm saying this. You said something. You talk about Africans living in America, and they are doing successful stuff, and they are breaking narratives. But we find out that it's very extreme in Africa. That's why I ask you the question. Do you think that Africa as a continent will have the system to make Africa great? I mean, Africans great in its own continent? And you say we do.
We do.
Explain.
We do have.
Okay.
We just need to get our leadership right.
All right.
We need to get our leadership right. If we can get the leadership of African countries right.
I'm tempted to ask this question that will put me in trouble.
It.
Did you vote Tinubu?
I was not in Nigeria, so obviously I didn't vote.
So if you're there, you vote Tinubu. That's what you're trying to say indirectly.
I wouldn't say I will vote. I would like what I would say is, to me, the will of God at the end of the day.
Tinubu is the will of God.
No,
I'm very perfect.
I did not say Tinubu is the will of God.
You just said so.
I'm just saying that if I was in Nigeria,
Family, I wish I could rewind this.
Please don't mind this man. I'm saying that if I'm in Nigeria and I was to go and vote,
she's on my show.
What I will ask is, God, where is your will? And to be sincere, I'll go for the will of God. Sometimes the message of God is not the way we see it.
Okay.
God can put somebody on a throne to use the person to correct. I was in a retreat on Saturday, and somebody said something about God taking advantage of you to do what he wants to do. And we prayed the prayer, God, may I never be taken advantage by God. God can lay hold of a man.
Okay.
Who came with a mission.
True.
He came with a mission. You want to do your
Emiloko is my mission, so God can use that.
And God can take it.
Yeah.
And you won't even know what you're doing until you have done it. If God can lay hold of the heart of Pharaoh, and do what he needed to do to prove himself to Pharaoh and to the people of Egypt, who he was and who his people and how dear his people were to him. So God can do it. So that's why when I say leadership, if God can give us the right leadership, the thing there with our leadership is that some of our leaders are not as open-minded as even when they go outside the country, they see how things have been done. They are not coming back to emulate and say, let's maybe try out some of these things that we've seen, the system and how it operates out there. Let's try it. We often think that when we get into power, say absolute power corrupts. So we take advantage of our people. At the end of the day, we are doing what we shouldn't be doing. But if we can get our leadership right, from the leadership, we can set the system right. And you can be in your country. Obviously, there are people who are in their country doing well. And so many people in Nigeria today.
Obviously, Dangote number one. I like mentioning his name, Dangote.
Yes. Who are doing great. I mean, if I can still make it, even if Dangote can make it, even with a system like that, who cannot make it?
No, I think the part that is still stuck in my head is the fact that, yes, if we can get our leadership right. Now, the question there for me that I want to throw, is it a matter of leadership getting right, or the people who are voting the leaders, their mindset has been corrupt?
If you vote a leader that you know is corrupt, and then be ready to chop the problem, ready to hit.
So which means it's still not the leadership issues, it's just the person that we who are voting.
You know why I'm still standing on the leadership.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to get into power, let's say in my country now.
Yeah.
And you have to use money to get your vote. The moment somebody is giving you money for vote, you should already know that that's not a leader.
Okay.
You're a sellout. So when you find a leader who is ready to work, the person will not be going all out. Yes, there are things you need to do, there are things you need to put in place, measures you need to put in, things you need to do to make sure. But when it comes to you having to bribe people, a right thinking person should know that if you have to bribe me to get into power, it means that when you get there, you go won't collect all that money.
The investment you make is an investment. You pack your share first.
So it's not so much about the people. You understand? The people who are coming out, yes. If you give an hungry man money, bros, don't let's forget, when somebody they're hungry, when you are hungry,
your mind they think straight.
I'm telling you, even at that moment, sir, there are certain things you do where God go overlook. I'm telling you.
So which means if you invest the money, yes. God go overlook.
No. I'm not even talking about the leaders. I'm talking about the people who collect. Who collect.
Okay.
So
God will understand that you are hungry. So that bag of rice,
bag of rice will be like, I'm telling you, it's like it's a full pantry of food.
I hear you.
So you cannot blame people. There are people who have gotten to a level in life. They know that no matter what you want to give me, you can't move me. You can't shake me. There are people, do you know that there are people who still get into power with a
clear conscience and not bribe?
Even if they used money to get people, to win people, because you have already I've told you that there are people who are hungry, they will collect money. There are people who even come to you, say, how much you want to give us? We're ready to vote for you. How much do you want to give us? Yeah. Now, there are people who say, okay, in order for me to get them to be on my side, I'll give. And when they get in there, because they have a clear conscience, they'll do what is right by the people.
All right, my family, I think because this very particular show is running fast, she's one guest that family I will say to you, please watch out. We'll be coming on a part 2 with her soon. So please just bear with us because there's a lot of questions that I'm trying to just get it within this very particular. Within this very particular. I won't blow her brain. I know she'll be like, darling, calm down now. What's your problem? Relax. I thought I'm coming to talk about music. I say it's AfriOne show. AfriOne. There's a one in it.
We're here to talk about Africa.
Africa, that's what we're talking about. But family, when we come back on this final segment, we want to talk about all things collaboration and partnership. And I want to ask my very beloved guest, as we're going on this very particular break, if she has the spirit of collaborations. Something that you need to think about. And if you're willing and open for you to collaborate with all of your African people across this continent. We'll be right back just now to continue these very particular conversations. Don't go anywhere. Still here on your AfriOne show with your Afropolitan Apostle, Darlington Steve.
The truth is that if our leaders, there are people there who would never want to do anything in the country where at the end of the day you know that your leaders will not be able to give accountability. They're not accountable. So I can come now and say, like the man that died now, as rich as he is.
Oh yeah, what's his name? The Access Bank guy, Wigwe or something like that.
As rich as he is, maybe say, okay, I want to collaborate with the government, but accountability is not there.
True.
So how do I bring my money?
And family, that's how we're back on the third segment of this very particular show. Question I asked before we went to break in terms of the spirit of collaboration. Do you embodied collaboration as a spirit and partnership, or you were still trying to find a way of navigating around that part? Now, this is you.
I say me, I think I have that, because I often try as much as I can to, whatever I do, to get a South African involved. You know why? Because they understand the system. Something happened one time, I think I was talking to my husband. We had a tenant who was, they were giving him stress. So I called him, I said, baby, I don't want you to die.
You don't want him to die.
Not because anybody's going to kill you, but if you keep stressing like this with this tenant or these people, you're going to stress yourself. Get someone who is a South African to manage for you, like a caretaker for you.
Okay.
In that way, it will be much more easier. The person can speak their language, understands. If they even try to say, he can say, this is what is acceptable here. If you don't pay at certain times, we lock your door or we check you out.
True.
You understand? So I feel that you can't but collaborate with the South African if you're going to do big things here.
And do you think that the people, and I hear that you are favored. Because sometimes I need to bring those clauses. No. Okay. I hear that you are favored. I hear that you are called. I hear that you are in a mission in this very particular place. But now let's be objective in our minds in terms of our conversations. Do you think that with your experience thus far, the people on the ground, they are open to collaborations and partnership?
I think to some extent.
you are permitted, and I'm very careful as to how I ask the
Yeah.
question. You are permitted to answer this question outside of you.
Outside of me. Yeah, I think the people are open.
Okay.
If they find trustworthy other African people to work with and collaborate with,
Okay.
they are open to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've worked, aside from the illustration I gave you, I've had to do with my music, I've had to work. I remember there was somebody who also called me to collaborate with me. He was a South African, wanted to collaborate with me. And I've also wanted to collaborate with a South African,
okay.
in my music. So I feel that the people are open. We're in a place now where there are so many people who are open to do things with Nigeria. It's just that, like you said, some people would not because they feel
Of the stigmatizations and the generalization
and the
also.
fact that a lot of Nigerians are very not so trustworthy. But I feel the people are open.
Okay.
And if they get the opportunity, they always open up. They're always ready to
You're a pastor,
work with.
right?
I am.
Okay. And I know where I'm going, that very particular place. When you look at your pastors here in South Africa, and I'm happy that you started your ministry here. It was not a ministry that was deployed from Nigeria in here. Platform Church also started here. So I know where I'm going.
We also had a church. We had a church in Nigeria.
Okay.
Before we came.
Your church, not that you were deployed. You know,
No,
there's
we're
a
not
deploying church
No,
in
we're not deployed.
like a military. Military will send you to
No, we're not
Afghanistan or.
We're not
So
so
I know I'm asking. When you look at it also from a ministerial point of view, do you think as we as pastors, first, from the Nigerian side, do you think we have the spirit of collaborations and partnership? Or everybody mind their business?
No. Now, a lot of pastors are collaborating with South African pastors. Nigerian pastors
Okay.
collaborate a lot. And I have seen it, maybe because I've had the opportunity to sit in meetings, I've had the opportunity to go to minister in churches, and I've seen how Nigerian pastors have embraced South African pastors, and South African pastors are also very open to work with Nigerian pastors.
Okay.
That I have seen.
Okay.
And it's something that is good.
No, 100%.
Oh, I love it. And every time I was recently at a funeral, all the pastors that spoke, this is a funeral of a Nigerian pastor, but all the pastors that spoke
For South Africans.
were South Africans. And when I was going back home, I was driving home, I said, this is good.
No, it's good.
This is like, I'm not here because of me. I'm here because I want to be the people's people.
Yeah.
So it's not about Nigeria. It's about me being in South Africa, and this is Africa. Everybody here is mine. So the platform was open to South Africans to speak.
Okay.
And I feel pastors are doing the much that they can to really open. It wasn't like this before, like I said.
Okay.
It wasn't like this before. But I have seen that collaboration. I've seen that openness. I've seen how South Africans too are coming close to Nigeria.
Is this something that you want to encourage?
Yes, it's good. I know a South African pastor who has a mentor that's in Nigeria.
Yeah. No, I know
So many
few
of them,
also. Yeah.
even here. So it's something that we should encourage. It's something that should continue. If we can do more, I want to encourage every pastor. Please, your platform should not be just be for Nigeria. I hear there are churches now who, like, if you're not from this particular location church, you mustn't clap. No, it should not be welcome. If you're a Nigerian and you have a program, you have a conference, seek for men. There are so many South African pastors that have a word for that theme. You know, we often have themes
for something. Yeah.
Conference.
Yeah.
Look out for a man that you know has strong calling when it comes to speaking about that particular area. And do not think that because he's a South African, please, your platform should be for Africans, not just Nigerians. So it's something that I encourage, and it's something that is good. It's healthy.
A pastor who is currently now struggling in terms of collaborating with, and this is me looking at it from a Nigerian side towards South Africa, who is struggling collaborating with the fellow pastors on the ground, what advice will you give to them? I need you to look at the camera to let them hear you. Coming from a pastoral side and as a minister of the gospel.
That's if you're in South Africa and you're struggling.
You're struggling to collaborate.
Collaborate with Nigeria.
You're Nigerians. Even vice versa is still fine. What advice will you give? Because now, like you're saying, we're talking AfriOne.
I'll say the advice I'll give is there are people that may not be open. We must not rule that out. But when you find people who are open to collaborating with you, don't be afraid to speak up.
Okay.
I heard a man of God say a South African pastor called him and said, I want to know you. I want to relate with you. And even though he was skeptical initially, but eventually he opened up, and their relationship is something that he keeps saying that this relationship has blessed me. And I'm so glad that I opened up. Don't be afraid to maybe air what you want to do or what you want. And there are people that you can also get in touch with to get in touch with the people that you're looking to relate with.
Okay.
And sometimes you can be looking at them from afar, you're thinking that, oh, this person is not accessible. But when you come close, you find out that that person that you thought is not accessible is very accessible.
True.
Like people say that of me, that you look at me from a video, you're like, this woman, she might be tough. Then you come closer, you're like, oh, this person. And then remove the mind of, don't think that every pastor or every Nigeria is corrupt.
I hear you.
If you have that at the back of your mind, you might not be able to collaborate. There's so many honest pastors. And so I see a lot of South Africans who want to go to Nigeria. I've met a couple of gospel.
No, I've met
I
a
want to go
couple
to
of them
Nigeria.
too. Yeah.
Feel free. Go out, reach out to the people that you want to relate with, you want to collaborate with. And if you reach out and you find out, I would say reach out, study. Reach out, study the person.
Okay.
When you study the person and you feel that you cannot, there's no compatibility here.
Bounce,
my brother.
or do slow ghosting.
And if you feel that or what they are preaching or what they are teaching is not in collaboration with what the Bible says,
Disappear. No, that one now you don't
shift.
need.
You don't need anyone.
That one you don't need to slow ghost. You don't just disappear.
But the truth is that let the Spirit of God lead you.
100%.
I mean, we are children of God, led by the Spirit of God. If the Holy Spirit is leading you to a man of God and you do not have access to that man of God, look out for people who have access. Today, the world, like I said, is a small
village. Yeah.
You can go to Facebook and find out the person. Just drop a message, sir. There are people who drop message for me like that.
Are you open for collaborations?
Very open for collaboration.
And which countries do you want to collaborate with?
In fact, every African country.
Okay.
I want to go to Namibia. I want to go to Algeria. I want to go to Botswana. Keep them coming. Swaziland. Lesotho. I've been to Zimbabwe.
Okay.
I've been to Zimbabwe. Oh, lovely people.
Shame.
I had
Zimbabwe, they've bribed you people.
I had a time of my life, very hospitable. I must tell you, I had a time of my life. So I'm open to collaborate with any they are my blood. Let me say.
Where can they find you? Because I know that my time, so that if I forget, they want to collaborate with you. How can they find you? And I ask people this question, and I'm very particular because we all have social media platform.
Yeah.
You hear people tell you Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. No, it's not Twitter now. It's X, and they'll tell you all the things. For me, I tell them, where do you know in your social media that you respond easily?
I respond easily. I think it's my go to my Instagram.
You respond on Instagram.
I respond on Instagram.
And what's the handle?
And the handle is Ezeimo. Just Ezeimo.
No, family, as she's talking all this to me, I want to check.
My Facebook, Ezeimo.
She's laughing because I'm opening my Instagram, so I want to be sure.
Ezeimo. And then on Facebook, those are the two views. Twitter, you might not get me on time. I'm not on TikTok, sorry, but I'm on Instagram. I can respond to you on Instagram. And on Facebook, it's just my name, Anietie Ezeimo. You type my name, Anietie.
Okay, no, she's correct. So the Instagram is Ezeimo. So it's like A, then you put Ezeimo. So that's the thing there. So and in case if you are struggling, just go on, send us email. You all know that we facilitate meeting. And like I said, let me say this. I see your emails that are coming in terms of collaborating with these people. Sometimes they are busy. She's a celeb bubble. For no celeb lady, because celeb bubble na guy, celeb lady na woman. She's a celeb lady. So when you send me emails to say you want to meet her.
Is it Celestial Church or which one?
No, not Celestial Church. Forgotten that I'm sitting with a Nigerian, so she will take it the other way. It's been long I heard that church name. I'm very sorry for those of you who are Celestial Church of Christ, but it's been long.
I'm just asking.
No.
You need to know, we know it's a celeb.
No, we are talking about celebrity. So instead of using the word celebrity, so we do celeb for guys and celeb lady for women. So that's the thing. So please, when you send your email and we delay responding, it's not because we've not seen your emails, it's just the fact that we're trying to get the hold of the people to make sure that when we release the information to you, they said yes.
Yes.
Okay. Because just because I have a relationship with her does not mean that I just have to just carry her information home. What if you are those guys who kidnap people? Hey, I don't want trouble. No, because I have to
I'm
say
gonna
that.
kidnap you.
He said, no, I don't want trouble as I am now. I tell people, I say, God has a reason why He called me in the ministry. He called me and gave me a mandate of rest. Rested life. I'm like, I don't want wahala. I want peace and stuff. Now, as we begin to bring our thought to a close, let me make sure that I still have some view. I still have some good time for us to just be able to touch some few base so that I'll bring you on part 2. Because there's some certain narratives that I'm looking at. I don't want to go with my question here. Okay. Otherwise, we will not finish today. We'll do part 7. I don't want to do part 7. I want to finish on this final segment. When we look at our African leaders at the moment, I know we talk about it a bit on the second segment and stuff. Do you think our leaders in Africa, we have a spirit of collaborations and partnership, or everybody just they mind their own business and they think of their own pocket?
And I will not say everybody, because there are people who have reached out to me.
This one a politician. Which party you belong first, by the way?
Because
wait, calm down. Let me be the show host. I have to go that because sometimes my guests they forget I'm the show host. They just want to start interviewing me. Which party you belong?
For everybody.
You can't answer for everybody.
I belong to the winning party.
You might be winning party.
Is it true? Because if I answer and say, no,
okay,
that means I'm generalizing it.
I hear you.
And I don't think it's true, because there are
people out there who
leaders,
embodies
the African leaders who have reached out to other leaders in Africa.
I think the one I love so much is Rwanda.
You see?
Kagame.
You see?
Guys, don't ask me why. Leave me alone. My own opinion. Okay, back to your answer.
So you see that. So I cannot come here and tell you that no.
Okay.
I feel that there are so many.
All right.
That have reached out to other. Because when you see somebody doing something right, a right thinking person should say, oh boy, tell me, how's your secret? How did you go about it? So if we have leaders who have that kind of mindset, that I love what South Africans are doing. I love the road network. I love the system. And I need something like that.
I love the ESCOM. That at least they tell us when they take light.
Unlike Nigeria, if they take it today, you are like, God, when will it come?
God, when will it come? Or you go on your generator.
And then a child that is born today will scream. Never. So if you see something that's working, I believe that there are leaders there who would look out for other nations, other leaders, and see what's going on in the nation and will reach out. I don't want to start mentioning.
I hear you.
But I believe so. That there are those who have reached out to other leaders of other nations based on what they are seeing happening, and like, how can we model this? How can we have this in our own country? And they've been able to collaborate. And when you see such things, just like you mentioned Rwanda, you see how, the other day I was in Rwanda flight. I got to the airport. The first time I entered that airport, I was like,
now wait till this one. Now Dubai a day.
But now, the next time I entered, I was like, oh, wow. So maybe I should speak to leaders. If you know another African nation that is doing well, don't be quiet. Reach out to the leader. How are you doing it? How can we bring the same system? How can we model what you have in our own nation? And it all goes there. That's why I said we are not in competition.
No,
we're not.
We're just there to complement one another.
We're just there to complement one another. And if you know it, why won't I ask you? If I know you know it, and that's one thing about me. If you have done something, Darlington, and I want to do the same thing, I will question you for every move you make, because at the end of the day, I will borrow from your experience, and I will not fall. Yes, that's how to live.
True.
You borrow from every man. Say, how did you go about this? When you were hanging this flower, what did you do? How did you hang it? Who did you call? At the end of the day, I'm saving myself time, making a mistake, and I'm saving myself time.
Yeah, true. All right, with that being said, for me, I think as much as I'm looking at it with my time being pressed, we'll discuss this later on the subsequent invite. Right. When you look at the concept of marriage currently now in Africa, what goes through your mind? I like my show. I don't send questions, that's the problem. Otherwise, you'd have done all the Googling and everything. The concept of marriage in Africa, obviously I understand that you're from Nigeria. Yeah. You've lived in South Africa for over 2 decades. How long have you been married, if you don't mind me asking?
I've been married for, this year will be 27 years.
27 years. Yeah. So that's 2 decades. I'm going to 3 decades. So you see, you are 2 decades in South Africa, 3 decades married. So that's like 5 decades. So. Good. When you look at the concept again, I'm saying this so that you can be able to structure your answer properly. Marriage context in Africa. And obviously you've been married for more than 2 decades. What goes through your mind? Marriage in Africa used to be, let me use the word, used to be very
something that was very, I don't know which word to use now.
Very emulating or very great? Or
Great, and maybe because we come from a culture, in terms of our culture, cultures respect marriage a lot in Africa, maybe from where I'm coming from Nigeria. But as the time has gone, we've seen that is no longer the narrative.
Okay.
A lot has changed.
A lot of change, positive or negative?
I would say negative.
Okay.
So many things have gone wrong, and maybe because of civilization, and can I say, the way the world is today, we're open to all sorts. We're open to so many cultures that we are trying to also imbibe the culture of other cultures.
Into African culture.
Bring it into African culture.
Okay.
And in a way, it's telling on our marriage. Before you see, divorce wasn't something that was so
out there.
Aired or out there in Africa. Your parents were married for 40, 50 years. They held each other. I mean, you see some of the things your mother had to go through.
Yeah,
but
true.
your mother will still be strong and stand.
And this day.
But this day, nobody even wants to go through that. Once it's rocky,
Don't
I'm
bounce.
out. So I would say that from my time, maybe because of how I grew and what I saw growing up, I've been able to, not as if I don't have shaking in my mind, I do have, but I've been able to uphold the value of marriage, of what it means to be.
So which means marriage has a value that we are losing.
We're losing that value. We're losing it. It's not.
If you want to know what the value is, wait for me to invite her on part 2. So now I don't want to. I know how to structure my advert so that people come back for next one. Because I know you're thinking.
You don't want me to go deeper.
No, don't go deeper. Deeper is part 2. Maybe at that very particular moment, I'll try and see if on the part 2, if we borrow what you call her husband to just come, because it's going to be her show, but we'll just borrow him to just come for like 5-10 minutes, then we'll go back to her again. So just to understand, because my time is really running out, and I would just want to pick on some few stuff. When you look at our singles currently, both the male and the female, single. Yeah, sometimes I have to remember that. Okay,
single and mingle. Maybe if you say single and
mingle. Okay, yeah, single and
mingle.
mingle. She's a pastor. She's doing conference on single and mingle. So that's it. So when you hear those terminology, you can tell that these are Christian people terminology. Yeah. When you look at our singles and mingle, like you say, do you think that they embodied a certain level of values in terms of how life is being driven? Or they're just living by the winds of time and trends that literally follow up? And this is me talking about us Africans, because I know that side.
Like I will always say, I wouldn't say for everybody.
Yeah.
I would say there are those who
still uphold
the value, and they don't just live life for living sake. They're upholding the value.
Let me personalize it. When you look at our Nigerians at the moment, here in South Africa, do you think that many of them are still upholding, especially the singles, still upholding those very particular African values? And that values will be on part 2 for now. Do you think they're still upholding it, or the situation in South Africa is making everybody to just throw away values and survive?
Since you're saying Nigerian, if you come into a country and you know what you want to do, you stay on course, you focus. Anyone who came in without having the prior knowledge or without knowing what they came in here for, it will be easy for them to be swayed away, distracted, and not uphold the value. So there are people who came into this country, I know why I'm here as a single person, I know what I came to do. If I came to study, I focus on my study. If I came to look for a job, I focus on my job. But if you came and you did not have anything in mind to do,
you would do everything.
You easily do everything. So those are the people that you end up seeing them live riotous life.
Okay.
Live how they want to live, not caring, not minding the consequences of their action. So I would say those who come knowing what they want to do are still upholding the value.
If you look currently now within your music industry, I use music which include totality, because sometimes you pastors have the one like, no, we are gospel, we are secular. You pardon me, my name is Afropolitan Apostle.
Okay.
I need to put the discourse, because the next minute I'll be hearing scriptures flying on my head, and I'm like, oh my God.
I never quote scripture now.
No, you try. No, honestly, take high five. You try. Most pastors would have told me Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. No, shame. Family, literally, you know that she hasn't quoted scripture thus far.
Not.
I think she quote one.
No, I was trying to quote it. I did not quote it.
She didn't quote it. Yeah, she just says the.
Because I don't want to go against
true, because everyone should. Now, when we look at your music industry and stuff, which of the artists that you're still looking for in terms of collaborating with, and call them forth? I don't know. This is single. Guys, you hear the maybe you need to go and check our YouTube page.
I've collaborated with a couple. I think I've collaborated with Akindo. And would I say, who am I really looking out to collaborate with?
Here in South Africa.
Yeah, in South Africa. I don't want to.
DJ Zinkley.
I don't want to offend people.
No offend people.
Can we leave that? Because if you look at, after all, she's my friend.
The politician is coming out now.
I mean, I used to think that she has me in mind and all that.
Who's on?
Don't worry. But I'm open to collaborate with South Africans anytime, any day.
But all of a sudden now, some of them is beginning to play tricks.
Why I don't want to mention names?
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of them as friends, and I wouldn't want to say, I would love to.
Okay, I hear the part. Those ones are friends. Are they gospel people you're talking about?
Gospel.
Okay, which of the secular artists do you want to collaborate with? Because I have to just find a way.
The person I would have loved to, she's late. Zahara.
Oh, Zahara. Okay. So you're open to collaborating with secular people then?
Not say open. I'm open to collaborate with people who are conscious singers.
Conscious singers.
People who
That's the first time I'm hearing that too.
Go
deeper.
Life.
I don't understand what conscious.
Sing about life. People who are not, today.
So can you collaborate with people like I'm thinking conscious singer based on
conscious
that.
Singers.
I'm thinking Questa.
Conscious singers.
Yes.
You must be a conscious singer.
I'm thinking Questa.
Sing about life. Sing about the nationality.
Casper.
Sing about the thing. Sing about the things that we go through in Africa. I'm open to collaborate with people who sing about. In Nigeria, we had a lot of conscious singers. We had Sonny Okosu.
Yeah.
Sonny Okosu will sing about Mandela. Will sing about freedom. I'm open to collaborate with people like that.
I'm not hearing that.
Your music is not. You're not trying to come and tell us the color of a woman's pants. What's my business?
I didn't know that's where you are going. Now I understand.
But it's the truth. Now
you just ended it.
I do not discriminate.
Now I hear you,
Family.
But obviously there must be something that you stand for.
Yes, but this is what I stand for.
I hear
I'm open. When I talked about Zahara, I could hear she to some extent there was something about her presence. There was something about her, and she was able to cut across. And so if I could sit down to listen to her music, it means that there was something
about her that
I saw about her that I felt that if I do a song with this kind of person, I would not be totally going against my beliefs, But there are people that if I
only Nigeria will understand that part.
Pastor.
Because my time is.
Myself say,
waiting carry me come here now. I have to find myself here.
maybe God won't use me.
To pass a message.
Pull you out.
Okay.
You understand?
I hear you. Because my time is fast spent, and obviously I have less than 1 second. I mean, what's got 1 minute to go? Do you think that we'll get to the point where African can become one? Having dropped all the narratives that you have said thus far, you have 30 seconds to answer that.
It's a tall dream, but it is possible.
It's a tall one.
It's a tall dream, but
how tall it is? My height? My height in terms of the tall.
No, you're not tall, Rich. It's a tall one. You know why? Because there's still
they
a whole lot.
Just give me simple jab, a Davidic one.
Because there's a whole lot. There's a whole lot, and it's like a surgery that needs to take place. Wow. So we'll talk that again. It's a lot.
Family on that very.
But it is.
It is possible.
It is possible.
But the surgery.
But for now, it is a tall dream.
We'll discuss that on the part 2 on this very particular AfriOne show. Ladies and gentlemen, please can we just celebrate this beautiful gospel singer, a pastor, a businesswoman who has been on my table now. Literally, I didn't know that 1 hour, 30 minutes actually come and gone. That's quite strange.
Sure.
But thank you so much.
Really?
Yeah,
We
literally
spoke for another 30 minutes.
1 hour,
My
30
God.
minutes. That's come and gone. But I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for
you so
coming. I hope you enjoy yourself.
I did. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
You enjoyed yourself.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. At least I know that you should drive far to this very particular place, and I appreciate you for taking out the time. I don't take it for granted. One thing I will say to you, I'm watching you. I celebrate you.
Thank you.
I honor you. And that's why I'm selective as to the people I bring here. All of you know me, I'm very selective. It's okay, it's my show. If you're angry, go and do your own. Life, no pause past that stage now.
Hey, well, I'll be like bicycle.
Is that? No, it's true. Me, I tell people. But Mama, hear me, I really appreciate you. I followed you thus far, and I've seen how you stand for what you stand for. Good stuff. And I know too well that this is not just the parting. Like I'm saying that you come for part 2. And after part 2, there are other stuff that I said that all the people I bring, I move them back again into another movement and stuff. But being said this, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you. I value your time. I value your time. And I know too well that that which you are doing, the countries that you've mentioned, they are open for you. And make sure your passport is clean. So that you can just go eat all their food. Quick.
Clean.
As they just send you now, go be that. Nothing. But I appreciate you, family.
Thank you so much.
Finally, we've come to the end of the show, and definitely on the subsequent episodes, we'll be seeing Pastor Anietie, who will be coming up. In case if you want to invite her to your country, please use the email that is available on your screen. And if you want to collaborate with her, you can definitely find her on our social media platforms. She says she communicates effectively on Instagram. I did
Facebook.
not. Instagram and Facebook. Yeah, I remember. I don't want to forget that very particular point. With that being said, family, it's a wrap. I remain your Afropolitan Apostle Darlington Steve. Please make sure that you subscribe, follow, share. And if you want to come on this very particular show, you know what to do. Just hit us up, and we'll try as much as possible with my team to do an investigation about you before you kidnap me. Bye for now. God bless you. I want to make a call. I'm looking for like-minded people who believe that they can work with me and my team. And for some of you, literally, you may not be here physical, but you can choose to collaborate with us either adversary level, or connection level, even monetary level, because hear me, we are currently now with a team, we're putting up some certain, what you call events and shows we want to do that will involve traveling. And that will also cost us money in terms of paying the staff, hotel accommodations, and all of this very particular thing. If you're a government agency, or maybe you're a private parastatus or a private business, you own something that you feel that you want to use as your own way of supporting this very particular narrative. You may not be sitting on the camera like my kind, but your money, your intelligence, your wisdom, your advice can help us and can channel us. I need advisors. I'll be very honest. I need advisors for me. Bible says the multitude of counsel is there is safety. So I need a lot of counsel to be able to guide me. I'm calling that I need partnership. I need you to join me to collaborate and to build this very particular AfriOne. You may be a graphic designer, a videography, whatever that you are doing. Come, let's work together. Let's work together. With this being said, I so much appreciate you for taking out the time to listen to me today or to watch me. And I believe that this is not the last time I'm going to be seeing you. This year, literally, expect mind-blowing shows, expect conversations that are going to be thought-provoking, and expect some certain narratives we are going to be deliberately doing with government officials and business and people. We are pushing ourselves literally into the water. And that's why we need you to collaborate so that when our feet get to the water, we can guarantee that your boat is by the side to pick us up. I want to say thank you.